So recently I came across a video that was posted by Sacred, and it was featuring the artist Victoria Monet. And they were asking her what some of her overall goals are with her hair, and she said this.
In a year from now, I want to have long, luxurious hair under those wigs, in between those sew-ins, and not have to wear them all the time.
Yeah. And I thought that was interesting because that is a sentiment that I think has been shared by a lot of Black women. And it made me think about a comment that someone had left on one of my videos a long time ago. The person left a comment that was along the lines of, why are Black women so obsessed with trying to achieve long hair? And is that indicative of some type of insecurity and a need to fit in with other hair types that we constantly want to try to achieve long hair? I think that person was implying that as a Black woman, to desire long hair is still playing into the whole Eurocentric type of beauty standard that, you know, the whole natural hair movement is, in theory, supposed to be pushing away from. I think that that type of thinking is actually insulting to Black women, because I don't think of long hair as only synonymous with other ethnic groups or other hair types. Anyone, regardless of their hair type, can have long hair. Obviously, because of how our hair is structured and with shrinkage, like what I talked about in my last video, our hair does usually tend to grow up and out as opposed to straight and flowy down our back. But it doesn't mean that if my hair is in a 4-inch shrunken afro that it's not still long. I want to grow my hair as long as I possibly can. But when I think of that, I'm not envisioning it long straightened. I'm more so envisioning it as, how big can I get, you know, this fluffy type of 4C twist out to be? That's my idea of long. And if I decide to straighten it one day or blow dry it one day, that's fine. But I still feel like my hair in those forms is still representative of my hair, because my hair blow dried or my hair straightened still does not look like European hair. And I feel like sometimes we tend to be a bit too extreme with what we can and cannot do with our hair, and it feels like we're put into a box, right? We're put into this box where it's like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I've seen commentary where if your hair is short, then people will call you bald-headed and say that your hair looks like a Brillo pad and all types of nonsense. But then on the flip side of things, if your hair appears to be longer and you play into that feature, I've heard negative commentary about that as well. I actually posted a clip from one of my past videos on my TikTok recently, from the video that I posted a few months ago about the woman saying to not bring your natural hair to her event. And I was basically talking about how crazy it is in our community that we pretty much shame women for their natural hair, and we see wigs and perms as the ideal nice hairstyle. And someone in the comments said something along the lines of, I hate girls like you who feel like as soon as they get a little bit of length that they can just go around telling us what to do. And that was not the only comment that I received like that. There were a few comments that implied that because my hair appeared to be longer, that somehow I felt like I was better than them. That's a concept that I've heard in the Black community growing up, even when my hair wasn't long, was just this idea of, oh, look at her. Who does she think she is with her long hair, showing off her long hair? And I've always thought that's so odd because I don't hear any other ethnic groups do that. There's some type of trauma or pain or hurt that I think we still have in the Black community when it comes to seeing some of us with long hair. I think it's because a lot of women don't believe that it's possible for any or most Black women to achieve long hair. So if they see you with long hair, it looks as if you are somehow rubbing something in their face, or you may get the comments of, oh, well, you know, she must be mixed with something. She can't just be all Black and have long hair. And it's really kind of crazy, because at the end of the day, that type of thinking only holds us back and stops the conversation of, instead of you being upset that you think this girl is showing off her long hair, why don't you ask her what her hair regimen looks like and compare how her hair regimen is to yours and see if there are some stark differences that could be causing a difference in length. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that we are still struggling with the idea that if you have not been able to grow long hair and you want to, it's likely due to something that you are doing in your routine, and it's not likely to be just because you're Black. But of course, it's always easier to just attribute it to your genetics or think that, you know, it's just not something that's possible to do, and therefore anyone who has been able to accomplish it, I'm gonna, you know, say something negative about them. So I think that because of all these different things, maybe sometimes when people desire long hair as a Black woman, I can understand how it may be coming from a place of insecurity or just wanting something that maybe you feel like, I don't know, you can't have because of who you are. But I don't think that's the case for everybody. And I don't know who it is the case for. I think that's something that each individual would have to be self-aware enough to ask themselves, why do I want long hair? Do I want long hair because I think that I'm only going to look beautiful like Beyonce if I have long hair? Do I want long hair because I think that is going to make me look closer to the European standard? Or do I just want long hair because I want long hair and I can have long hair? I know I've heard a lot of women talk about feeling like long hair is more feminine and that they don't feel like a woman or as womanly when they have shorter hair. You know, it's one of those things where how you feel and when you feel that way during your journey is gonna be, you know, ultimately up to you. However, I do think that some of those thoughts can end up doing us harm down the road, because at the end of the day, we don't have any real control over our hair. You know what I mean? Like, we can't decide if tomorrow we're going to come down with some type of illness that will cause us to have to go through chemotherapy and make us lose our hair and ultimately have to shave our head. We have no control over, after we have a baby and we deal with postpartum shedding, the fact that most of our edges, if not all of our edges, are probably going to fall out and our hair may be thinner than it ever was in our life. I think that it's wise as a person, while it's a lot easier said than done, I think that it's wise to try to learn to be okay and still in love with who you are, even in a state that you may not think is ideal, because when and if the unfortunate happens in life, you'll then be more prepared to take that on, and I think that will just make you a stronger version of yourself. But I understand that's something that is a lot easier said than done. We have a lot of pressure on us as women in general when it comes to our look. So when something threatens that, it can be difficult to comprehend or deal with. But I want to hear from you guys. Do you think that there is something wrong with a Black woman's desire to grow long hair? Have you yourself ever desired to grow long hair, or do you currently still desire to grow long hair? And if you do, why is that? Do you just want to see what you look like with long hair? Do you feel like only people with long hair look attractive? Have you ever heard or experienced some of that negative commentary about other Black women who are showing off their long hair, or is that just something that only I've heard? Very interested to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. And until next time, take care of yourself.